Welcome back, my legends, to the #1 podcast on the frontier. Now, last time I said we were going to have a contest to name this show, and I have my 4 finalist names. So the way we're going to do it is the 2 most voted names are going to go to the finals. So out of these 4, the 2 names that are the most popular in the next podcast, we're going to have like a final voting system, and that'll be the official name of the podcast. So congratulations to these people. The first name for the possible name of the show / podcast goes to the Camp 43, the Respawn Chamber. I like this one. Very unique, very simple. The next person comes from Ender, and he suggested Into the Dropship. Now, this one I like too. And then we get this one from Aiden Thomas. He suggested Legends from the Frontier. Ooh. And the last one comes from this person named T4CoG4M3. He suggested Outlands Oracle. So these are our finalists. Now, there are some names that I wanted to put on here, but I couldn't because some of them were taken, and one of them that I can't say was the Outcast. I was thinking of putting Outcast on this list, but unfortunately there's already an Outcast podcast show, so I don't want to, have any problems with them. So the other one was Inside the Ring, or Into the Ring if I remember correctly, and I like this one, but unfortunately it was too boxing related. A lot of people were saying that, well, the people that I talked to, that if they heard that, they would have thought that, oh, this is a boxing podcast because it's Inside the Ring. So unfortunately that one couldn't make it. Some people were suggesting Cotscast, Noxcast, the podcast, Nox related, and unfortunately somebody from this, they don't work for YouTube, but they have contacts with YouTube, because once you get to 100k subscribers you do get there, and they told me that it's not really a good idea to be associated with anything Nox related, especially in these times. So I couldn't do that for that reason, even though I did like it, but unfortunately because of circumstances I couldn't use anything Nox related. So both for your favorite, and the top 2 are gonna have a final voting battle in the next podcast, and that officially will be our new name. So let's get into the big Apex news that's happened over the weekend. But first, a word from our corporate thank you for Hammond Robotics for sponsoring this video. You did nothing bad. You can put your trust in Hammond Robotics. So let's talk about Crypto's town takeover. Now, lore-wise, every town takeover is already in the game lore wise, but for because since a video game and they had to like put content out at different times, we don't see it. But every town takeover, from what I imagine, is already there in the game, but because this is a video game, we don't get to interact with them until the event comes out. But lore wise, every town takeover is already established in the games. So by the time we come back from World's Edge, I like to imagine that Crypto's town takeover satellite place is already finished, but because because it's a game, we can't interact with it yet until this certain date. So what does this mean? Well, so the biggest shock from this lore wise was that Mila is alive. In fact, she is in contact with one of Crypto's drones. Now here's the thing, there are 2 possibilities from this. This either means Mila knows that Crypto is Taejung Park, or Mila could have just contacted the drone, but she doesn't know that that Crypto is Taejung Park. We don't know if she could see him, or if she can only like radio in to him and saying like, hey, careful. But what this is interesting, because what this tells me is that she knows he's in the games. Now this is very, very interesting. I mean, it could be a trap. It is possible that the Syndicate could have suspicions of Crypto, because we do know it's from one of the loading screens is that they looked into his past and they found nothing on him, so they thought it was suspicious. So they are keeping an eye on Crypto, and Mila, with the sounds of Mila, is warning him that, hey, they're watching you. But who exactly is watching Crypto? Now I don't want to get way into this because it's just a little bit of information. This could be a trap. This could be Mila. If it is Mila, how did she escape the Syndicate? Is she secretly working with the Syndicate to capture Taejung Park? Do they have suspicions that Crypto is connected with Taejung Park? What is going on? So I'll have to wait and make a theory about that later, but I'm very interested in where the story is going. Breaking news. So Manny just confirmed that Mila could be in the games. Now, if you see from from this tweet, Frozen Fro said, oh, I want Mila as a legend. And Manny said, oh, what makes you think she's not a legend? And then he kind of clarified it because that kind of makes no sense that, oh, she could be a legend. So it is possible that Mila could be participating in the games, or this could be Manny's way of throwing us off, because I don't know about you, there's a person that looks like me, sounds like me. In fact, that person is me, that I've been saying since I made the How Mirage Would Say Crypto that Mila could have betrayed Crypto from the beginning. In fact, she might be working with the Syndicate. So that's my theory. You guys can look that up. But until we get more information, I'm not going to say anything more, and we'll move on to the next thing. So the next thing we're going to talk about is I made a tier list about the strongest legends lore-wise. And a lot of people have been telling me when that's coming out. And the reason I haven't made that is because I'm kind of want to wait after the whole Crypto's Town takeover comes out, because some people might change in like abilities. So like we know Lifeline's getting a buff where she no longer has to pick up people. Her literal robot drone can now pick up people for her. And this is important because ability wise things matter in my list, because you see how ultimates, tacticals, and passives could literally change somebody's ranking by a lot. Like I said that Bangalore could have been an A tier if her ultimate actually, when her missiles came down, they exploded right away. But because of that reason, and because it's slow to detonate, she's in B tier. So I'm gonna wait after the town takeover, then make the list, because I do have the other people completed, but I just wanted to see what they were going to do with a town takeover. So it's probably coming next week. And the last thing we're going to talk about is the ghost quest and how it affected Lova. Now, I know I said in my last video that, hey, I was gonna make these podcasts or show about 20 minutes long at least, and the people that I know told me that, hey, you necessarily had to make it about 20 minutes. You can just, start out at 10, 15, make your way up slowly, because 20 minutes may be a lot, especially since I'm not just talking. I also have to edit these videos, so it does take some time. I mean, it's not going to be a lot of editing, but I have to at least have some movement, because most people that do podcasts, they just talk and talk and talk. I have to kind of do talking and then editing and then show pictures around, just so if some people want to see what's going on and not just me, just talking and staring at a screen. So yeah, so I guess this podcast is more like if you guys watch the Daily Show or a network like that, it's kind of like me talking while having pictures move around in the background. So yeah, so let's talk about the ghost quiz and how it has affected Lova. Now, I have said from the beginning is that the writers never meant for the ghost quest to be canon, and it's kind of very obvious from the effect that this has on Lova. Now, sadly, the whole season was supposed to be about Lova. She's the new legend, so you would think the whole everything will revolve around Lova, but unfortunately the ghost quest, and I don't think the writers meant for this to happen, but it just did, because of the ghost quest and how we've seen how Lova's treated the legend, especially for what she said to Watson, because she really didn't do anything to Watson. She just was very insensitive to her and how the legends feel about her. She has become the least liked legend in the whole series. It's insane how one word, the people that are paying attention, to the lore, they understand Lova's just using the legends for her own gain. Now, her popularity has dipped. She is now one of the most hated legends lore-wise. Nobody really likes her, and that's kind of weird, because the whole point of the season was to, revolve around Lova, but unfortunately, the ghost quest has hurt her reputation more than it's helped her, or, made her into a more unique character. So I think the writers need to, I hope the final chapters 7, 8, and 9, I hope they had more time to write those out and not just have them already implemented, because Lova needs some kind of rebound, because right now her popularity went down. So I'm hoping that was the plan, that her popularity takes a dip and then does an amazing bounce back. We see her redemption arc real fast. So I'm hoping that happens, because right now Lova is not a fan favorite it, and I hope the writers have some amazing thing planned for the final chapters of the story. So the final thing I want to talk about is Octane Stim. Now, a lot of people have told me that, yeah, you were right about the stim being highly addictive. I hope I can find your messages. I saw some people were saying that, oh yeah, one of the the original Apex Predators from Titanfall 2, they were addicted to the stim, and they were highly, unlike Octane, who couldn't stand still, he was very aggressive towards people and very mean to his subordinates on the IMC. And also, somebody pointed out that one of the grunts did take the stim. Like, they'll put like drops, I kid you not, they'll put drops in their coffee, and they claim that these little drops, they couldn't sleep for about weeks. So the thing that Octane is taking is literally, he's not taking drops, he's taking like a full stim. So it looks like I may be onto something, and you guys too, that, oh yeah, maybe Octane, the reason the way he is because he can't feel anything, because he has a problem. And I wish that it would be very touching, especially for some people, because this really is a problem, not in America, but around the world, about drug addiction. I hope that it's Lifeline the one that makes him stop doing this to himself, because he does have a problem. And I hope, once again, just like always, Lifeline's there to save him. Now, before I go, I was going to talk about Mirage's heirloom, but I decided to make that a separate video because I think I understand where his story is now going, because we saw that he got a statue of himself for being the best handsome competitor or something, but it's something deeper than this, and I'll explain it fully in my next theory video, because Mirage is obviously suffering from something that we all go through in life, and that is depression. But that will be for my next video, and I'll see you all next time. Peace. Next time.
I'll keep on repenting for that night so